Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Offices at 24/7. How are you all? So let's just start the session. And today we are having a sixth session of the Sankalp series. As you all know that we have started a Sankalp series in which we are discussing every unit in a single session. It means one day we are going to cover one unit of your Indian economy and Indian financial system. That we will discuss in the form of MCQ with the explanation. So for each and every unit of your, we are coming up with a particular MCQ with the explanation so that you know what this topic actually talks about. So this is our sixth class in which we are going to talk about the sixth chapter of your module A. And if I talk about the Indian economy, Indian financial system, that there are total 45 units in this particular module this particular subject. And out of that we have started from the module A and we have seen that the module A covers total 11 units. Out of this 11 unit we have completed the initial 5 chapters, that is overview, sectors, economic planning, PSL, MSME, infrastructure. So today we are going to discuss the globalization of your module A. Okay, so let's just start the session. But before starting the session, I'm your mentor, Amanjot Kaur, for Indian economy, Indian financial system, and principles and practices of banking. And these Sankalp series are going on Monday to Friday, only on Offices at 24/7 at 7 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. for all English medium candidates. This is the respectively timing. Like PPB will be at 7. Indian economy, Indian financial system will be at 7:30 a.m. Okay, so let's start the session. But before starting with the session with the questions, let's understand first what is globalization. So if we talk about the globalization, what it is actually, globalization is simply, first of all, it became famous from the year 1991. Now, what happened in 1991? In 1991, LPG policy was introduced, that is the liberalization, privatization, globalization policy. In this policy, we have seen certain reasons to introduce this policy, and one of the major reasons to introduce this policy was BOP crisis. Now, what is BOP crisis? Let's first understand about the BOP, then the BOP crisis, and then we will come up to the LPG policy. So, if I talk about the BOP stands for balance of payment. And what is balance of payment? Let's say this is India. This circle is India, let's say, for example. Now, whatever is outside this circle, that's the rest of the world. This is what? This is the rest of the world, the other countries we have. So this circle is India, and whatever outside the circle, that's the rest of the world. Now, India is having economic transactions. India is having economic transactions with the rest of the world. India is having what? India is having economic transaction with the rest of the world. Economic transaction means the transactions which are related to money. It can be export, it can be import, it can be remittances, it can be tourism, it can be investment, it can be grants, etc. So any transaction which is having in form of money transaction, that's the economic transaction. So this economic transaction between India and rest of the world have certain amount of inflow towards the country. Inflow means the income that India is getting from the economic transaction with the rest of the world. And the second, this also includes certain outflow that India is paying because of this economic transaction between the India and rest of the world. So this inflow and outflow of funds will be there from India to abroad and abroad to India, or I can say India to rest of the world and rest of the world to India. And all these transactions will be maintained very systematically, and that statement will be known as balance of payment. So what is balance of payment? Balance of payment is a systematic statement of all the economic transactions between India and rest of the world in a financial year. Now, if I talk about, this is balance of payment. Now, what is balance of payment crisis? Whenever this outflow of balance of payment is more than the inflow of balance of payment, it creates the BOP crisis. It creates the balance of payment crisis. Clear? It creates what? It creates the balance of payment crisis. Okay. Now, this is what happened in India at the time of 1991. And because of these issues, we went to the IMF and World Bank and asking for a help from them. And they said that we are ready to help you, but you have to do the economic reform. And that economic reform done by India in the form of what? LPG policy. And there, the globalization term will become very famous. It's not the first time when we have talked about globalization, but this policy made it very famous. Now, what is actually globalization? Globalization means to link Indian economy with the world economies. When you link Indian economy with the world economy, it means you have removed all the restrictions related to the foreign trade of a country. It means now in India, it is allowed to export and import the goods and services between India and the rest of the world, obviously. And from this particular year, because of the globalization term or because of the introduction of globalization policy, Indian economy became open economy. Open economy means that kind of economy where the government of India removed all the restrictions from the foreign trade. And this is how the globalization became famous after the LPG policy. Right? And this globalization have a lot of advantages, but it also have certain disadvantages. But to control those disadvantages, the government of India has provided a protection policy, or I can say certain protection measures have been taken by the government of our country so that this disadvantages can be neglected by the country. Okay, and that what we are going to discuss today in the form of questions. So I hope the concept, what actually the globalization is clear to all of you. Now let's start practicing the question and also with the explanation. Now the same pattern we will follow. In the end of the session, I am going to ask with all of you how many answers you have given correct. So do make sure you are counting which answer you are giving correct. Okay, let's start. Opening and improving the economy with other major economies to take it to the international level is known as. If you are opening an Indian economy and the other major economies to what? To take it to the international level. It is known as what? You are taking your Indian economy to the international level. What is it? What situation it is known as? Privatization, liberalization, globalization, or none of the above? Acha, option is there already. So it's very obvious it's a globalization. This question will not be counted if you are giving right answer because the option was already seen by you. Hai na? So if I talk about this very simple question and you can see okay, so this is what we're talking about, the globalization. When you link Indian economy with the world economy, you open the economy, you improve the economy, and at the international level, it is known as what? The globalization. Now, the second question is asking about which of the following are the reasons for the wider acceptance of globalization. So, what are the reasons for the wider acceptance of globalization? Like, why India accepted globalization? Hana, that reason you have to tell here, and we have certain reasons here. The first reason is saying for investment purpose. Second is saying for proliferation of technology. Third, for robust institution. Fourth, for restricted trade. Fifth, for effective macroeconomic policy. Sixth, educated workers. Seventh, the presence of market economy. And eighth, the underprivileged society. So what do you think out of these 8 options? What were the reason for accepting the globalization? Let me know which of the following is correct. Okay, so the right answer for this particular question, first of all, you can see here we are talking about the reasons for globalization. So it's very obvious investment is one of the reasons. Investment is the reason because in our country we have a scarcity of resources. A scarcity of resources means we have a limited resources, and it is your physical resources, it is your human resources, it is your financial resources. We have a scarcity of all the 3, right? Now, if you talk about, ma'am, how human resources are very scarce in the country. There is no scarcity of human resource because you think India is the most populous country in the world. That's why you think like it cannot be possible that the scarcity of human resources are there in the India. It is there. The reason behind is I'm talking about the skilled labor. The skilled laborers or educated workforce in our country is very minimum, right? That's why we can see that we have a scarcity of human resources also. But the investment is one of the reason because we are getting financial resources from the other countries. So this was the reason. Obviously, technical advancement was the one reason. Robust institution was one reason. Restricted trade. No, this was not the reason. In fact, it used to be there. We wanted to remove this. That's why we have done the globalization. So restricted trade is not one of them. Effective macroeconomic policy, obviously. Educated workforce, obviously educated workforce will be there. The presence of market economy, true. What is market economy? Acha, market economy is simply, yesterday we have discussed in the English medium batch only. Market economy is the economy which works on the market forces, on the basis of market forces. Market forces are what? The demand and supply. Demand and supply are the market forces on which we are working, right? And if we talk about the demand and supply, they have an inverse relation. If the demand is high, the supply will reduce. Hai na? This is the inverse relationship between the both. Clear? Now, so you have to tell which of the last one is underprivileged society. So it's very obvious this is not the reason of doing the globalization. So only D and H is not a reason of globalization, all the others are. So the first option is representing D, it can't be right. Second is also presenting D, it can't be right. Third is not having a D, not even having a H. Yes, very good. So right answer will be C option. The right answer is C option. A, B, C, E, F, G. All these are the reasons for introducing or for accepting the globalization in the country. So you can see the right answer is C option. Okay, next question. Next question is talking about which among the following is not a protectionism measure. Which of the following is not a protectionism measure? Now, what is protectionism measure? I have told you, like globalization have advantages, so it has disadvantages also. And to control that disadvantages, to have a less impact of the disadvantages in the economy, government has introduced a certain protection measures. And out of these, which of the following is not a protection measure, that you have to tell. Not a protectionism measure. First is increased tariff, second is increased quota, third is non-tariff barriers, fourth is increased capital convertibility. So what do you think, which of the following is not a protectionism measure? So the right answer here is increasing tariff. Tariff means taxes and duties. Yes, this is one of the way to control the globalization in the country. Because if you have increased the taxes and duties, the MNCs will come in India, but in a less number of MNCs will come in India because of the taxes and duties has been increased. They have increased the quota also. The condition of the quota also increased. Non-tariff barriers, obviously, what are the non-tariff barriers? Like the license, the rules, regulation, restrictions has been increased. In that situation, companies do not want to come in India. So these are the three ways by which you can protect your economy from the disadvantage of the globalization. This is the right answer. So right answer will be D. Increased capital account convertibility cannot control your disadvantage of globalization. So the right answer will be here, D option. The right answer is your D option. Okay, next we have what are the challenges of globalization. Next we have what are the challenges of globalization. Now the options we have: the exploitation of foreign workers, difficulty in the expansion of MNCs, high charges in export taxes, and these are the options. So let me know what are the challenges of globalization. Okay, so first is saying exploitation of foreign worker. Definitely it happens. We have studied the British era when the Britishers used to rule us. So this used to done by the Britishers. They used to exploit Indian labor. Or if I talk about how they used to exploit the Indian labor, the average salary of Indian labor used to be 60 times less to the basic engineering service that Britishers used to provide in the country. So you can see 60 times gap was there in the salary that was given to the Indian labor and to the British labor. Okay, so this was used to be there. Difficulty in expansion of MNC, obviously this is a challenge. High charge in export taxes is also a challenge. So the right answer is all. All are the challenges of globalization. Okay, all are the challenges of globalization. So the right answer is D. Next, read the following statement carefully and choose the correct ones that is in the relation to the concept of globalization. the correct statement in context to the relation to the concept of globalization. And these are the statements we have. These 6 statements we have. Read them carefully and let me know which of the following is correct in relation to the globalization. So first is saying globalization is defined as a rise. One second, what happened? Okay. Globalization is defined as a rise in economic disintegration among nations. Okay. Second, the concept of globalization is an ancient one dating back to the 19th century. Okay. Third, the World War I, Great Depression, World War II forced a retreat from globalization and several trade obstacles were raised. Then, however, in mid-80s, OECD popularized the term yet again. Globalization is described by World Trade Organization as a development towards unrestricted cross-border flows of goods and services, capital and labor force. And the last one is saying the concept was formally introduced in India in the new economic policy 1991. What do you think, which of the following statement is correct? So, if I talk about globalization, do the discretion, it can't be right. Concept of globalization in ancient 19th century, no, it was actually reintroduced by OECD in 1980s. This statement is right, so obviously the second statement will be wrong. The World War I, Great Depression, World War II, they forced a retreat from the globalization, and this is true. This happened. And again, obviously WTO has introduced the globalization, that development towards the unrestricted cross-border flows. And because the restrictions have been removed, Indian economy became open economy. But the fourth one is not true. It's not introduced in 1990. It was introduced in 18th century. But it got popular in the LPG policy in 1991. Okay. So right answer is third, fourth and fifth is the correct one. So the right option is C option. Okay. Which option will be your right option? C option is right about the globalization. I hope it's clear. Next. Next, we have globalization is defined as a rise in dash among nations. Globalization is defined as what? As a rise in dash among nations. In dash what? First, economic integration. Second, political integration. Third, spiritual integration. Fourth, wealth integration. Which of the following is correct? So, globalization is defined as a rise in dash among the nations. Okay, so it's very obvious because of the globalization, the political integration will not be seen. The spiritual cannot, the wealth cannot, but the economic integration is there. Because of the globalization, we started doing export and import of goods and services, and that has given us a economic integration here. So right answer will be your A option. Okay. Now, next question. This is in front of you. Do read the question here, what it is asking for. Clear? So this is what the next question is asking about. Which among the following is not a benefit of globalization? Not a benefit of globalization. Okay. So these are the points they have given us. Oh, sorry. One second. So these are the, which of the following is not a benefit? You have to tell that. So the first one is saying technical transfer, job creation, political stability, economic development. So if I talk about globalization, it's very obvious technical advancement is there. Job creation is also there. Because of the globalization, we started producing more goods. Because let's say India's demand used to have 100 products in a year. But now you are exporting goods, so you have to export, let's say, 400 products. So now you have to produce 500 products, and that will increase the employment, that will increase the GDP, that will increase the per capita income, national income also, obviously. Now, economic development will also be seen. Economic development is what? Economic development equals to economic growth plus economic welfare. Economic growth means increase in the production of goods and services. And economic welfare means when this increase in production gives you the positive changes for the human being. Like, for example, low poverty rate, high employment generation, high living standard, high literacy rate, high infrastructure development. That's a positive changes which you are seeing because of what? Because of your production increased, and that is known as economic development. So that can be seen. But the political stability, obviously not. Globalization cannot give you the benefit of creating a political stability in your country. So C option is not right. Okay. So option number C is not a benefit. Now the next question is asking about what are the benefits of globalization. The last one we have discussed, which are not a benefit. This is talking about what are the benefits. And you have to choose about from these three benefits. First, use of innovation and technology, low production cost, get access to various new cultures. Okay, so out of these, what do you think, which is the benefit of a globalization? Okay, so use of innovation and technology. Yes, obviously technical advancement will be there. Low production cost will be there because now you have an opportunity cost. It means you have so many options with you that you can decide from where you want to purchase at the low cost with the better quality. Then obviously you will be introduced or access to the new culture. So the right answer will be D option. All are the benefits of your globalization. Okay, next question. Next question is talking about which among the following statement is not true about globalization. Not true statement about globalization. And we have these four statements. So out of these four, which of the following is not a true? First is saying workers were denied for the rights because the labor laws were not implemented. Second, it helped in creating several jobs in the service sector. Third, people having wealth, skills, education were not benefited from the globalization. And fourth, globalization has unequal benefits. So what do you think, which of the following statement is not true about the globalization? Okay, so the right answer here is people having wealth, skills, they are not get benefited because of the globalization. No, that's not true. This is not true. First is true that the rights, workers were denied for their rights because the labor laws were not introduced. Also, it helped in creating several jobs. Also, it gives the unequal benefit. It's very obvious, na? Globalization has given unequal benefits to the rural area, to the urban area of our country, because in the both situation, the globalization was done in the urban areas, in the metro cities. Hana? So this difference is there. Unequal benefits are there. Now, read the following statement carefully and choose the incorrect one. Which statement? The incorrect one statement in relation to the topic fair globalization and the need for policy framework. Okay, so these are the statements in front of you. Okay, so read these statements. First is saying fair globalization creates opportunities for all while also ensure that the advantage of globalization are shared equally. Okay. Government measures must safeguard the interest of citizens, including the workers. Their rights must be effectively protected and they must be given their entitlements, obviously. Then at the local, national, regional, global level, fair globalization must be supported by the interdependent and mutually reinforcing pillar of economic development, social development, environmental protection. then must be fair, exclusive, democratically governed, and provide opportunities and tangible benefits to all the countries and people. So which of the following is not true? So first is very true. This is what the fair globalization means. Second is also true, because of the globalization, unequal benefits has been seen in the country. So this is the responsibility of the government to make sure that those people who are not getting the benefit of from the globalization, they have their rights or their entitlements should be given to them. Hana? And the third one is also correct, that globalization will be most supported by the interdependent, mutually reinforcing pillar. That will be economic development, social development, environmental protection. But the fourth one is not true. It must be fair, exclusive, democratically governed, and provide opportunities and tangible benefits to all countries and people. This is not mandatory. Hana, it will act in such a form related to the economic condition, economic situation. So the fourth statement is not true, or it's an incorrect statement about the globalization. So you can see the right answer is B option. Okay, so this is what we have discussed in the chapter globalization. Now, let me know in the comment section how much you scored in this particular chapter. And as you know, we have discussed a certain number of questions with the explanation, but still, it's not a complete coverage of a syllabus. For that, you can continue to the Mahapack 2.0 and how to enroll. First of all, do download the 24/7 application if you haven't downloaded it. Then go to the JAIIB CIB section. Okay. Acha, one more thing, those who watch us recorded, do make sure in the comment section after watching the full recording, you let me know in the comment section how much you scored out of the total number of questions. Because it will help me to know that how much better you are performing now. So how to enroll? Just go to the JAIIB October 2023. When you click here, you will find the Mahapack as well as the batch. Both will be available in the same page. So Mahapack additional benefit is that it has a double validity with 81% discount, and marathons will also be covered in this. In the batch, live classes, ebooks, class PDFs. Apart from there, we have topic-wise tests, and also the full-length test will be available. Recordings will be available for the paid classes. Everything is there. Hana? So how to enroll? Just click on the particular product. The process of enrolling is same. Hana? So click on any product you want to go. Do check the offering of a product first. After checking the offering of a product, if you find at the time of enrollment any problem, you can call on this number for the inquiry. Okay. Then click on the buy now option and use a code that is JC80. Apply a code that is JC80. You can see I applied this code. But after applying this code, I can see here it is only showing me 80% discount. But I am telling you that 81% discount will be available. So how to get the 81% discount? Just go to the application and use the coins available there. By using the coins, you will get 1% additional discount. That's how you will get 81% discount. So double validity is there in the Mahapack 2.2. Okay, so this is what we were talking about, the Mahapack 2.2. Or you can go with the direct Sankalp batch also. So if you haven't downloaded the application yet, do download the application. Also, if you haven't subscribed the channel Officers Adda 24/7, then do subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that all the upcoming sessions notification will be given to you. And also, I request to you again, do share the session on the Telegram channels or WhatsApp group or Facebook group, wherever you know the persons are available who are going to give their JAIIB October exam. Okay, and these sessions are regular from Monday to Friday. So do not forget to join this session in the morning, that is 7:30 a.m. Right? So let's end the session here, and thank you so much for joining the session and have a great day. Take care all.